Holy Tuesday evening, the Church holds its third Nymphaeus service. This time it commemorates two events that took place 2 days before Passover. Both these two events are related to us by Matthew the Evangelist, the author of the first Gospel according to the Orthodox Church's tradition. First, it reminds us of the sinful woman that anointed Jesus with fragrant myrrh. It then proceeds to tell us of the betrayal of Judas. The week that Christ was to go through his passion was the week when the Jewish people celebrated their most important feast day, Passover. This feast celebrated two important events in Jewish history. First, the saving of the firstborn of Israel from the Lord, who was to destroy the firstborn of Egypt, and second, the saving of Israel from Pharaoh at the Red Sea. So, 2 days before Passover, Jesus was called to go have dinner over at Simon the leper's house. While they were having their meal, Simon and his guests were interrupted by a harlot, a very sinful woman, who walked in the dining room full of men. She proceeded to anoint Jesus' head and feet, wiping them with her hair. She incurred the wrath of the disciples who had previously heard the parable of the 10 virgins that alluded to almsgiving as being a very important virtue to be acquired. Judas was especially incensed. Then Jesus told all of them to leave her alone, protecting her and encouraging her to continue with this good deed. All following generations will remember her and what she did for him. He mentioned that this woman was preparing him for his burial so that he can forestall Judas from betraying him, but to no avail. Judas left and went to see Caiaphas and the Jewish authorities, who had already gathered and decided to kill Jesus. They decided to arrest Jesus by subterfuge and not during the feast day of Pascha. He made a deal with them that he would betray his master for 30 pieces of silver. From that day forward, Judas was seeking an opportune moment to betray Jesus. Some say that Judas sought to accelerate the events that would lead to Jesus' enthronement as Messiah King. However, no such thing is recorded in the Gospels. Rather, the motivation of Judas was clearly the gain of money. His greed was clearly seen on Saturday, just a few days prior, at the supper that was offered by Lazarus' family in honor of Jesus. Now, he unveils what was hidden in his soul when he asked the members of the Sanhedrin, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him to you?" The agreed price was 30 pieces of silver, as was foretold by Zacharias the prophet. This is the equivalent of the price of a slave according to Mosaic law. Today, this amount is the equivalent of $600. Since Jesus was betrayed on Wednesday, the apostles decreed that we should fast every Wednesday of the year except when the church prescribes not to. As for the sinful woman, the Orthodox tradition, with St. John Chrysostom as its main proponent, agrees that there are two different women that anointed Jesus with myrrh. One was a prostitute and is mentioned by all the 3 synoptic Gospels. The other one, mentioned by name by the author of the 4th Gospel, was Mary, the sister of Lazarus, who was a good and virtuous woman.